Annapolis cannot stop the parade as there is a buzz in the capital city of Maryland for the Military Bowl. The midshipmen of Navy are looking for an exclamation point on a tremendous season, but Pat Narduzzi and Pittsburgh have made the trip to Maryland with other ideas. The fans arrived early, and it will be a full house for the Military Bowl. It's Pittsburgh against Navy. Welcome to the 2015 Military Bowl, presented by Northrop Grumman. Today, from Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, the midshipmen of the Naval Academy, with a record of 10-2 out of the American Athletic Conference, take on the Pittsburgh Panthers. Pittsburgh looking for win number 9 on the season, and a standing room crowd only consists of some luminaries as we get set for the coin toss. And here today includes the Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, the Secretary of Navy Ray Mabus, and for Pittsburgh at the coin toss will be the reigning ACC Player of the Year, James Conner, as we have an electric atmosphere here at Navy today for the Military Bowl. And hello and welcome to Annapolis. I'm Eamon McEnany, happy to be joined once again by the former Notre Dame linebacker, Rocky Boyman. Quint Kessenich is with us down on the field as well. And Rocky, if this is indeed the greatest senior class to play football at the Naval Academy, you cannot picture a better setting for the final chapter.
No, you're right. We've been around this program all week, and you get a really appreciation of how special this class of 32 seniors is and the chance of what they can do today. 11 wins, most in program history, but almost maybe even more importantly, a chance to send their senior record-setting quarterback, Keenan Reynolds, out in style.
And when you say Keenan Reynolds, usually included in that sentence is the triple option.
Absolutely. I've been around the triple option a long time, but I've never seen one run as efficient as Navy runs it. First, you got to worry about the 245-pound fullback Chris Swain up the middle. Then from there, the decision-making of Keenan Reynolds, when to keep it and when to pitch it. And then from there, if he does decide to pitch it, that ball, Eamon, hits the perimeter fast and is out the gate. They have a real challenge stopping this, but what really makes this triple option special is that man right there, Keenan Reynolds. You add a great special athlete like Keenan Reynolds to this kind of system, it makes it truly special.
You see his season numbers there. That was good enough to finish 5th in the Heisman Trophy voting, and Pitt has a dynamic offensive weapon as well.
Speaking of special players, Tyler Boyd has had an exceptional year. They get him the ball in a variety of ways. He'll line up all the way outside, in the slot, in the backfield. However they can get the ball in his hands, that's what they want to do, because when the ball's in the air, Eamon, he attacks it. He goes and gets it. That ball is his, and he'll pull it away from anyone who's trying to get it. I think they'll try to get the ball in his hands 15 to 20 times a day.
Let's go down now to Quint Kessenich, who's standing by with the head coach of the Naval Academy.
Coach, quite a unique and festive environment here today. What has made coaching at the Naval Academy so appealing for you?
This is all that good about America. You know, you coach great young men that are going to serve our country, and they're selfless kids, and couldn't be more proud to coach them.
The seniors and Keenan Reynolds playing their last game today. What's the mental challenge that they face?
There's no mental challenge. Just enjoy themselves, come out there and play the best they can and have fun.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Clint.
Of course, you hear Coach Niumatalolo talk about all that is good about the Naval Academy. There was some flirting with BYU, a meeting, but he decided this is the best place for me and my family, and he has decided to stay at Navy. Pat Narduzzi, after a long run as the defensive coordinator at Michigan State in his first season with Pittsburgh, and you know, we asked him, what's on the line, what's at stake in a bowl game your first year, and he goes, look, I gotta be honest, I want to avoid misery for the next 8 months. I want to win.
It's the misery factor. You lose a game like this in a bowl setting, you have 3 months to think about it. Each one of these teams want to come out and take this one.
Quadri Henderson back to receive, and we are underway at the Military Bowl. Henderson from the 1. Across the 20, sidesteps the tackler into the open field. One man to beat. He could go. The 40, the 30. No flags, 99 yards.
And what a way to stun a crowd here, a home crowd here at Navy. And the freshman takes this ball right up the middle and then makes one cut, makes one guy miss, and there he's gone. You see the speed as he outruns the rest of the Naval defenders. Again, what a way to start a game. Navy is certainly a home kind of crowd here at this stadium. That crowd is now silenced.
And Blewett delivers the extra point. And that, you mentioned the speed. That's always the question for the Naval Academy when it goes up against a Power 5 conference school. Are they going to be too big, too strong, and too fast for the midshipmen?
Absolutely. That's the thing. The other conferences, they have the athletes. They're not recruiting just one kind of guy. And you see what kind of speed, what that can do to a team. And Navy certainly found out early.
Avante Maddox returned a kickoff 89 yards for a touchdown in the opener against Youngstown State. That was the first kickoff return for a touchdown for the Panthers since October 15th, 2011. So they get one in the opener, and now they get one in the bowl game from the freshman out of nearby Wilmington, Delaware. So now Blewett, who just kicked the extra point, on. Daishin Romine back for Navy. And he'll take a knee. Rocky, let's take a look at your impact players brought to you by U.S. Navy.
Well, we've talked about Keenan Reynolds and how he runs a triple option, but when they do have to go to the air, Jameer Tillman, 6'4", he's their impact wide receiver. And then on the other side of the ball, Jordan Whitehead, a true freshman, ACC Rookie of the Year, a guy no one expected to be this good this early. He has his hands full. He's got to be integral in stopping this triple option attack today.
Now, one interesting thing about this matchup is Pittsburgh did prepare for the triple option during the regular season when they faced Georgia Tech, coached by Paul Johnson, who of course was the coach at Navy before moving on to Atlanta. And there's Swain right up the middle for a first down.
And that's the thing about this attack, Amy. You worry about Keenan Reynolds and all the records he's broken, but you got to stop that dive. Chris Swain, 245 pounds, coming from just 3 yards deep in the backfield. That thing is on top of you right now. I'm interested to see how good Pitt does early, because it's impossible to practice the tempo of this kind of attack.
Now Reynolds pitches it out to Damon Brown, looking to get the corner, and he will not. Tripped up by number 15, Reggie Mitchell.
This is where the safety's got to be so good. When that ball hits the perimeter so quickly, like we talked about, they got to come up, they got to shoot their gun fast and not allow that thing to break.
Second and 9. Now Brown in motion. Reynolds looking to throw. Has a man wide open. That's Tillman out near midfield, Jameer Tillman. But a huge game against Army.
And that's the thing, you kind of get lulled to sleep with just thinking about stopping the run, but Navy has the ability to put the ball in the air, and Reynolds usually finds Tillman. And we talk about 6'4", 206 pounds, has great hands. He's certainly the go-to guy when they got to put the ball in the air.
Had a huge 50-yard touchdown reception in the third quarter against Army in Philadelphia. First and 10 at the 49. This is Swain into Pitt territory. Gain of 4. Swain making second-team All-American Athletic Conference honors. He will play in the Senior Bowl. That brings up 2nd and 6.
There's a guy that's got to be really good today. McAlambus, middle linebacker. He's got to be able to play that quarterback, but plus have the speed to get to the edge.
Now he's Quentin Ezell in at fullback. Reynolds on the pitch. Romine on the outside, inside the 20. Daishin Romine with an explosive play.
When that play, Pitt chose to blitz the triple option, which is a good idea. I think it's certainly something to try to get that thing discombobulated early, but you see the misdirection, and again, the ball just gets to the perimeter so quickly. Again, it's so hard to practice. This Pitt team has had 2 or 3 weeks to go against it, but I'm telling you, it never hits that quickly as it does here in this game.
26-yard pickup brings up 1st and 10 from the Pittsburgh 16. 6th play of this drive. Reynolds. Now the pitch. Antonio Gully, junior out of Wisconsin, with a short gain.
Again, we see Galambos, the middle linebacker, the duty he has here. He's got to be able to play off the dive, play off the quarterback, and then still be able to get the edge. That was a nice play by Galambos. You can see early, Eamon, they are not, right now at least, they do not want Keenan Reynolds to beat them. They're making sure they stop him and they'll react to the dive and the pitch.
Now Swain back in at fullback. And Galambos also has a tough assignment right here as we see it, matching the set checks at the line.
This is the chess match. Navy wants to change the play. They want to look at your formation and change it. Pitt's going to try to react to that and change things back on their side.
Reynolds keeps it himself and is brought down by Juan Price, number 5. So a 2-yard pickup.
It's one thing Pat Narduzzi talked about Pitt's coach. Hey, Navy likes to come to the line. They get up to the line fast, but then Reynolds, he's so good, he's so smart. He surveys that defense, sees where the hole is, and is able to check the play. Pitt has got to be able to counter that check and give him a new look right before he snaps the football.
Swain in the backfield on 3rd and 5. To Brandon Sanders to the right. And Calvin Cass to the left of Reynolds.
Reynolds checking the play. Pitt brings another linebacker up in the line of scrimmage.
5 on the play clock. To the fullback, straight up the middle. Still on his feet inside the 5. 1st and goal for Navy.
And this fullback, it just hits so quick. Again, Swain's just about 3 yards deep, and he really runs behind his pads well. You see some linemen on the 2nd level really do a nice job blocking. Chris Swain, he's going to the Senior Bowl here in about a month or so. Coach told us this week, kind of a late developer. A guy, he said, hey, better late than never, but he certainly has played well this year.
10-yard pickup, 1st and goal from the 2. Reynolds keeps it himself and waltzes in. Touchdown number 86 for the Navy quarterback. Austin Grebe on for the extra point. And it's good.
It's a great job there. Keenan Reynolds made the right read. They slanted the defensive lineman in, faked the dive, kept it himself for a wide open touchdown. Navy answers 7-7.
So the Navy offense, as advertised, precise on its first drive, going 75 yards in 10 plays, using 5 minutes and 20 seconds of the clock to tie it up at 7. And Keenan Reynolds finishes it off with a 1-yard run. He now has 86 career touchdowns. One more, he ties Kenneth Dixon of Louisiana Tech for most by an FBS player.
And Kenneth Dixon went ahead and had 4 touchdowns in his bowl game. Had to make things hard on Keenan Reynolds and Navy fans.
He also has a chance to gain the most yards on the ground for a quarterback. He needs to pass Pat White and Denard Robinson for that to happen. Now Henderson, will they kick it to him? What adjustments do the special teams of Navy make here on the kickoff return? They're going to try it again. Wow, he lets it go.
Oh, I thought for sure he'd take that one.
Maybe he's still tired, I don't know. Would have been from almost the exact same spot where he caught it before. But now here's Tyler Boyd behind the line of scrimmage, and he retreats. Now he gets a block from his quarterback, makes a cut across the 40, and that is why they want to get the ball into the hands of number 23.
That's what we talked about. They are going to try any way possible to get the ball in his hands. This time, it's from the backfield. It's just a little toss sweep. He has everyone leading that way, but here's what makes him so special. This play is dead in the water, but a great athlete like that can just take it, cut back across the field, and make something out of nothing. Tyler Boyd, a fantastic season, and starting off this game here with a bang.
16-yard pickup. Pat Narduzzi said we had to get creative because defenses were so focused on taking plays away from them. Now Olsen has it into Navy territory. Let's check in with Quint Kesenick.
Eamon, Tim Salem is the interim offensive coordinator today for Pitt. And he told me before this game, you'll see Tyler Boyd today. Jet sweeps, reverses, tailback taking pitches in the slot as a wide receiver, bubble screens, and then once in a while as a kick returner. Full plate for Tyler Boyd.
Tim Salem taking over for the former offense coordinator Jim Chaney, who left Pittsburgh to join Kirby Smart's staff at Georgia. Now Peterman with time, looking for Boyd, knocked away. Brandon Clemens gets his hand on it
Brandon Clemens knows the task ahead of him, lined up over Boyd, but he's a tremendous cover guy, sits his hips down well and comes back to the football, makes a play on it. Couldn't have drawn that up any better. Tell you what, Brandon Clemens, if you watch the Army-Navy game, he had a heck of a ball game.
Now 3rd and 7. 3 wide receivers. Peterman forced to move and dropped by Holtz. J.P. Holtz couldn't bring it in. The normally reliable tight end couldn't bring it in, so the punting unit comes on for the Panthers. Calvin Cass back to receive the punt from Ryan Winslow. Short and low. Cass lets it go. And it takes a neutral bounce along the 15. The Panthers down it. So the Navy defense gets a stop. Keenan Reynolds and company back on the field when we return to Annapolis after this. Great crowd out early today for the parade, and if you didn't get to the stadium early, you weren't getting to the stadium on time.
No way.
Because Annapolis was a buzz for this one. I mean, you can see the standing room only crowd in the stadium, and the fans were here early. Getting ready for this one, the parade and the tailgating, a great atmosphere here for the Military Bowl in Annapolis. So now Keenan Reynolds, one of the main reasons why there's such a big crowd, out for the second drive for the Navy offense from the Navy 14. Off the play fake. With time, has a man open, complete. Damon Brown out of the backfield near the 40.
In this offensive, this triple option, it lulls you to sleep. You think you run, run, run. Navy had 2 guys going down the middle of the field. They had 88 Tyler Carmona as well, but then Reynolds hits his wide open running back to the outside. That's the balance here. You focus, you load up to stop that run, and Keenan Reynolds, he's so good, he'll switch that play off and find a wide open wide receiver.
25-yard pickup. They go back to Brown. And this game certainly significant for Brown. Not only is it the last one he'll play here at Navy, but as a local kid out of Glen Burnie, Maryland, not a bad way to end your career in front of the home folks. You know, he has 2 plays on this drive to have Navy on the move. Carmona and Tillman wide out to the left. Swain in the backfield on 2nd and 5 from the Navy 45.
Looks like Pitt showing blitz. Now Navy changes the play. We'll see what they do.
5 on the play clock. Reynolds to Swain right up the middle and into Pittsburgh territory for a first down. And Rocky, you were talking about Swain being a late bloomer, but the chemistry that he and Reynolds have, so important on that option, on that mesh point.
Absolutely. 4-year classmate with Keenan Reynolds. They've run that mesh point thousands and thousands of times. And that's the only way you get good at that thing, is when to clamp down on the ball, when to pull it, and when to go.
Now Ezel in at fullback. Reynolds looking to throw. Out of the reach of Daishin Romine. Rocky, take us in and down on the field. You're a middle linebacker. Dive, you know, all the responsibilities of the triple option. Then, oh no, he's going to throw it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the triple option takes away your instinctiveness as an athlete. You want to come down, you want to see that play and go get it. But when, hey, is he handing the ball off, or is he keeping it? Is it going to a pitch? Is he dropping back for a pass? The indecisiveness, Eamon, makes you slow out there, makes you play slow. And that's the biggest trick here for Pitt's defenders.
Now they roll out. Reynolds keeps it himself, and Galambos knocks him out of bounds.
And Galambos, Quinn just talked about it, keeping him clean, Eamon, keeping the trash off of him. And right now, he's doing a good job playing sideline to sideline. You notice he's back a little bit deeper, so those linemen can't get out to him. You see now he's very clean, can get all the way to the outside to stop Reynolds.
When you were with the Tennessee Titans, didn't you have a few guys who helped keep you clean? Didn't you have a nice, easy gig?
Javon Curse, our own Kevin Carter, he did a good job of keeping them blockers off me, right? That was his best job.
This thing's easy. No one's blocking me at all.
Those are the days, man. I'll tell you what. Matt Galambos is hoping them some guys will keep him off, and he'll have about 15 tackles today.
Now 3rd and 8. Normally a passing down, but Pat Narduzzi back, but instead he throws back to a wide open to Brandon Sanders. Inside the 20, another first down. And the offense coordinator, Ivan Jasper, telling us, I don't know how Keenan can find him. He's so small.
Well, Naaman, it's not just the misdirection in the running game, it's also in the passing game. They roll out to the left, he throws back across to the right side of the field. And the thing is, when you want to stop the triple option, you're basically playing man-to-man coverage, so there's no help. As a cornerback, as a safety, you're out on an island, and a guy with who's as accurate as Keenan Reynolds is, he'll find the open man.
16-yard pickup. 1st and goal from the 7. Reynolds keeps it himself. And he gets driven back after a short gain.
And that was one where I thought Keenan Reynolds could have pitched it to the outside. He had Damon Brown wide open on the pitch play, but that Pitt defense closed on him fast. Keenan Reynolds talked last week. He got his post-grad assignment in information warfare, something he wanted to get, and certainly something he'll do here later on in his career.
2nd and goal from the 5. Reynolds to the left, keeps it himself, and gets in. He is now tied with Kenneth Dixon.
Wayne, we've been talking all game about his decisiveness. Always seems to make the right read. On that one, he did a great job. He saw the hole open up all the way to the inside, showed great vision, and was able to punch it in for the touchdown.
Greebion for the extra point. Deflected, but good. Now Henderson is going to let this one go for a touchback. Navy playing with the lead, Pitt looking to answer. They swing it out to Boyd, who gets a block. 1st down, lowers the shoulder for a few more yards.
Well, true to form, man, we talked about they're going to get the ball in his hands any way possible. This is just a one-step smoke route out to the outside, and they say, hey, Tyler Boyd, you do the rest from here. Make a couple guys miss, and picks up some nice yards there for the 1st down.
Looking to set a school record for most receptions in a season, currently held by someone named Larry Fitzgerald with 92.
That guy was pretty good, too.
He go on to do some things, but, you know, Pitt obviously a great football history.
There's Boyd right there. Now this time he's in the slot.
They give it to Olsen out of the I formation across the 40. 4-yard pickup for the redshirt freshman out of Niagara Falls. And that'll do it for the 1st quarter. So as we expected, strength against strength for the Panthers and the midshipmen. Henderson gave the game an electric start, but it's been Keenan Reynolds' show since. Navy leads by a touchdown in Annapolis, the 2nd quarter, when we return. And one of the more unique aspects of coming to Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium for a sporting event is looking around the stadium and seeing, you know, some of the more historic and significant conflicts that the Naval Academy and our armed forces have been in to shape our country.
Yeah, just one of the many special things about this stadium. Most stadiums in their Ring of Honor, they have past great players. And here in Navy, they show past engagements that America has been involved in. Certainly a cool dedication.
First play of the 2nd quarter, again, it's Boyd. And he gets popped right at the marker. Laurentez Barber lower in the boom, but Boyd with a nice pickup.
Well, I said in the open, they may try to get him the ball 15, 20 times. He may go over that. They're finding ways early and often to get the ball in the hands of Tyler Boyd.
Tim Salem telling us he didn't want to do anything different, put his stamp on it. He just wanted to win. I guess that meant get the ball to 23 as many times as possible.
How many times do I say it this year, Eamon? It's not about the scheme as much as it is about players. And Tyler Boyd is a very special player here for Pitt.
1st and 10 now from the Pittsburgh 44. Boyd in motion. And now Peterman off the play fake, looking for Boyd on the post, picked off. Barber Laurentez Barber picks it off for Navy.
Lame, and they max protected. It was just a two-man route. They wanted to get Tyler Boyd down the sideline here. And he curves it back into the middle of the field. But Laurentez Booker, a great job of reading the quarterback. He knows, he feels where Tyler Boyd is, but his eyes are on the quarterback and is able to come back to the middle of the field. In the Army-Navy game, he sealed that game with a victory with a big interception late there. And Coach talked about this week, Laurentez Barber, one of the real emotional players on this defense, plays with a lot of passion, and boy, did he come up with a big play there.
He had one of two key interceptions in the fourth quarter to seal that Army win. He also had a big hit. Reynolds rolls out right, looking for Tillman. Decides to throw it over the middle. Catch made for a first down.
Lost his helmet.
There's that Carmona. There's Carmona. The helmet comes off, so he'll have to come out, but he picks up the first down. And what a decision by Reynolds, because it appeared he was thinking Tillman the minute he rolled out.
Yeah, he was certainly looking right in the direction of Tillman, but give Reynolds a lot of credit. A guy that doesn't pass the ball a ton. He knows that Pitt's defense, look, they got Tillman covered well there, so he goes back to his second option, goes through his progressions and finds on the intermediate route Tyler Carmona for the first down.
Now Swain up the middle. And now your Navy, you pick up that first down as we approach 5 minutes left, and you're thinking, let's hold on to this ball for the rest of the half, I would imagine.
Right, and that's what they do well, is just control the clock, just move the ball down the field, 3 yards here, 4 yards there, but they also have the ability to hit the big one.
Now they toss it out to Cass, who turns the corner and gets out of bounds. Picks up the first down, so that'll move the chains as we approach 4.5 left in the half.
On that play, Amy, you saw the cut blocks on the perimeter. That's one thing when you face a team like Navy, you got to work, you got to be ready for the cut blocks, but Amy, it's hard to practice that in practice.
Now Swain, nothing doing up the middle, make that Quentin Ezell. So that stalls this drive for at least a play. Is that because you don't want to get anyone hurt at practice, or because no one else knows how to do it?
No, it's more you don't want guys going after your teammates' knees and legs in practice. If you're going to get someone hurt, it should better be in the game. But again, when you're trying to diagnose the play and what's the option and are they handling, all those things are going through your mind. Then you got to face a cut block and try to get your hands down and force them off. It makes it just extra tough.
10 seconds on the play clock here for 2nd and 9. Reynolds, keeper, into Pittsburgh territory. And he gets the first down. Devontae Maddox with the tackle.
Again, we used to call this the duck play. He fakes the dive and then just follows right behind it here. There goes the Swain, and just look, he gets an extra lead blocker. As you see right there, I believe that was Gully. 2 lead blockers, some space and opportunity for Keenan Reynolds.
1st and 10 from the Pitt 46. We're down to under 3.5 to play. Pittsburgh with just the 1 timeout. Navy as well. Now looking to set up the screen, and he overshoots his man, Damon Brown.
Pitt right there with a great defensive call. They chose again to bring pressure.
Are you surprised that Navy's decided to throw it as much as they have here in the first half?
No, because I think they realized coming in that, look, Pitt with their defense and the big bodies they have out there, they figure we're going to try to run the ball. Well, we'll change it up and stay very balanced. I love Navy's attack right now.
Reynolds holds on to it, down the line, has an alley. Inside the 35, down to the 31. As he moves closer and closer to Pat White and Denard Robinson.
It's going to be interesting to see what Navy does here, because in pregame warmups, we were watching their kicker kicking inside. When the ball was inside the 30-yard line, he was making them pretty easily. Then outside the 30, he was having a lot of trouble with the way this wind is blowing around here. Navy certainly wants to pick up a few more yards and eat some more clock here before half.
Reynolds now with 57 yards on the ground, but looking for more in the passing game, and he has his man on the wheel route. Stepped out of bounds at the 18, but that's to Brandon Sanders. Again, the big play man. Keenan Reynolds has a knack for finding 14-yard pickup.
Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator, told us that Brandon Sanders is possibly our best football player. He's certainly not the biggest, just 5'7", 160. He said, I don't know how Reynolds sees him at times. He's so small, but certainly a dynamic player, another great weapon there for Navy.
Now the toss to Swain, has a convoy going. Gets down to about the 13.
Now, I like that call right there. Chris Swain is a guy, 99% of the time, he's getting that ball on a dive. But you know what? Go on the outside of the perimeter. Let's see if those cornerbacks want to tackle. Get that 245-pound back out there and let them make some tackles one-on-one.
Quint, what do you have?
Well, that toss, as Rocky mentioned, that's the answer to the A-gap blitz. Pitt showed a lot of A-gap blitzing against Georgia Tech early this season when they press up the middle, and those tosses to the outside, to the perimeter, keep the defense honest.
2nd and 3 from the 11. They fake it this time, over the middle, into the end zone, wide open, touchdown Navy. Carmona brings it in.
Again, just another great play call. They fake the sweep again to Chris Swain. So you're thinking, oh, God, here comes this big body guy to the outside. We got to go tackle him. Keenan Reynolds pulls it up and finds a wide open tight end in the back of the end zone. Tyler Carmona for the touchdown.
First touchdown catch of his career, sophomore out of Davie, Florida. Now Grebe on for the extra point. And it's good. Let's throw it down to Clint Kesenick.
So much for rust after final exams, Coach. You've thrown the ball 12 times, which is way above your season average. What is it in their defense that's leading to you passing the ball so much?
Well, they're pretty aggressive. They're coming after us. They got everybody up on line of scrimmage, and this isn't a very complicated game. If you're up on the line, you got to throw the ball over your head. And Ivan's doing a good job of mixing play calls up.
Barber and Clements with interceptions. How would you best describe the play of your secondary?
Well, they're doing a good job with their keys and their eyes, but we got a long ways to go. This is a good football team. It's only a half, and we got to come back in the second half, keep playing.
Thank you, Coach. Amen.
He is 9-0 when taking a lead into the locker room at halftime. If he holds on to that, he'll have his 11th win of the season. Our score at the half, Navy 21, Pitt 7. Now let's join Reese Davis with the Coke Zero halftime report. Welcome back to the 2015 Military Bowl, presented by Northrop Grumman, part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Back here in Annapolis, the first half dominated by Navy. They lead Pittsburgh 21-7. As we get set for the third quarter, let's take a look at our U.S. Navy game track.
And there we go. You see, look at the amount of rush yards. That's what Navy does well. But then what you didn't really expect was that, the 107 pass yards, as Coach Niumatalolo talked about at halftime. Look, when you stack the box the way Pitt is, a good offense, they'll not try to run right in the teeth of that thing. They'll take advantage and hit you another way. The passing game has been very efficient for Navy. The balance has been extraordinary.
Keenan Reynolds passing it well, also running it well with 57 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he is right now tied with Kenneth Dixon of Louisiana Tech for the most touchdowns in FBS history. 8 yards away from tying Pat White for most rushing yards by a quarterback. And then he has his eyes set on Denard Robinson, who holds that record right now with 4,495. Pitt to kick off, blew it, sends it away to Romine from the 2. And he gets out to the 25. Let's check in with Quint Kesenick down at the field.
Not a happy camper, Pat Narduzzi, who says their eye control versus the play action pass on defense must improve. Offensively, only 72 yards rushing, so we got to stay on our feet and make a play. Quadre Olison has been no factor, and you can imagine that he was called out during the break, Eamon.
All right, Quentin, certainly, this is danger time. You always say the first drive of the second half is critical, but really when you're facing a Navy team and you're already down 2 touchdowns, it's very critical.
Well, it's critical with the way they control the clock. You cannot afford to go down 3 scores right now, so Pitt needs to stop.
And they get a big play there on first down as Price created the penetration, and Shakir Soto along with Tyreek Jarrett. Loss of 1.
Interesting to see what Pitt's going to do. Do they continue to stack the line of scrimmage and try to blitz this thing, or do they change it up and play a little bit more conservative, if you will?
Now White in the backfield, he's looking to throw. Throwing it back to Reynolds, who goes and makes the grab. And he could go. One man to beat, and they'll get him from behind inside the Pitt 30. So they are breaking out the playbook in Annapolis. Grigsby finally runs them down. Who said they didn't have a lot of practice time?
I'll tell you what, they've brought out all the stops here. They throw a pitch there to the running back, and you see right away he finds the quarterback back across the side of the field. No one has their eyes on Keenan Reynolds, and then you see the speed after he catches that football to take it into Pitt territory.
And that is a body blow right off the bat here to start the third quarter. A 47-yard pickup on a trick play. But they are ready for Reynolds on the spin there. Shakir Soto with another tackle.
Yeah, and then now a halfback pass back to the quarterback. That's just one more option that this Pitt defense has to think about. Remember, their mentality is attack. They want to come downhill and blitz you and get after you. But when your mind is racing, Eamon, it makes it tough to play defense that way.
Calvin Cass dotting the I formation now with Swain as the fullback on 2nd and 11. And they give it to Cass on the sweep. Cuts upfield inside Price for a nice pickup. Galambos with another tackle, but a 4-yard pickup for the junior out of Sicklerville, New Jersey.
And you see Navy, they rotate 3 players, come back off. 2 new running backs come back onto the field. Keep them fresh.
Reeby's season-long kick this year is 44 yards, so this would be some kind of moral victory for the Pitt defense if they can force a field goal attempt after that trick play went for 47 yards. 3rd and 7.
Tillman all alone out there
from the 26. Reynolds, the pitch, first down. Brown lunges. Touchdown, Navy.
Wow.
26 yards.
And I'm still amazed. I talked about it before the game, but how fast this ball gets to the perimeter. And then look at the effort there by Brown as he reaches out. That ball hits the pylon, stays inside of it as he goes airborne. That is a touchdown.
So there you're the Pitt defense thinking you can get a stop and force a field goal attempt instead. Let's see, does the ball hit before the elbow? Rocky, as you mentioned, inside the pylon.
He goes 5 yards airborne to get that ball inside that pylon for the touchdown. Very impressive.
And again, it's the hometown kid with his 5th touchdown of the year from Glen Burnie, Maryland.
And Eamon, they come out of halftime, they pull out the stops, they get the halfback pass back to the quarterback, and then back to what they do well. Run the triple option, getting the ball on the perimeter. Another touchdown for Navy, 28-7.
Back here in Annapolis, Damon Brown out of Glen Burnie, Maryland, has just put Navy up 28-7. He is part of a senior class that has already won 35 games in their 4 years here at Annapolis. The school record for most wins by a senior class is 36, set by the class of 1909. So that is part of the history that could be made here today by this Naval Academy squad. Now Greeby on to kick it off. And Henderson decides to bring it out. And he's responsible for Pittsburgh's only points, but he'll be brought down at the 25. And they're not going to pound it there as the toss goes nowhere. Ted Colburn with the penetration in the tackle.
And we talked to Dale Pearson, a defensive coordinator for Navy, and he talked about this linebacking core, how much of a pleasant surprise they've been. A big question mark coming into this season, but all those guys, Micah Thomas, Daniel Gonzalez, Josiah Powell, playing very well.
Dale Pearson taking over earlier in the season for Buddy Green, who had neck surgery, and Buddy Green, the longtime defense coordinator here at Navy, announcing his retirement. So now Dale Pearson, the full-time defense coordinator, and Boyd drops it, almost intercepted by Barber. Number 2 looking for his second pick, but he couldn't come up with it.
Well, there's no question where that ball was going to go. It was going to go to 23, but a rare drop by Tyler Boyd. I mean, he's usually so sure-handed, especially on an easy catch like that, but it looked like he had his mind turned on trying to get upfield and get extra yards and try to get that first down. And the lack of concentration is now going to force another punt.
Sanders and Cass back to receive the punt. This will be Cass. Gets away from the first tackler, but not the second. Galambos throws him down. So all Navy right now in Annapolis. Keenan Reynolds looking to make some more history when we return. Activities. Players on both teams going to Washington, D.C. to check out the Capitol, the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and players for both teams pretty fired up about a chance to see some history while they get ready to play this bowl game. Swain up the middle. That's the beauty of youth. They don't get jaded about being stuck in traffic on the Beltway. They appreciate it. You and me, Rocky, were like, well, we got to go to Washington, D.C.
That's right. Just happy to be here, happy to be a part of this great bowl experience. You know, as a guy who played in a couple of bowls, it's sort of nice. You get here, they roll out the red carpet for you, and these guys want to come out here and play hard.
McGinnis in at middle linebacker for Galambos. As you would imagine, Navy would take its time. Now Reynolds down the line, darts up the field, and now he could go in the open field. Still on his feet inside the 30. He just passed Pat White, and he's on his way to passing Denard Robinson.
The name is the misdirection. The eye discipline on defense is so hard to see what they're going to do. The play starts off going this way, they come back that way, and then again the elusiveness, and then now the speed of Keenan Reynolds is what makes this triple option attack that Navy runs so special.
So he needed 65 coming in to pass White. He needed 80 to pass Denard Robinson, and he just did it on that run. The most rushing yards by a quarterback. He now has 4,518, and we still have a lot of time left in this ball game. What a career for the senior out of Tennessee. You start talking about great Navy quarterbacks, you obviously have to start with the Heisman Trophy winners, Joe Bellino and Roger Staubach. But this young man finished 5th in the Heisman Trophy voting and is wrapping up a tremendous career here in Annapolis. Now looking to throw, jump pass, good coverage by Whitehead.
Yeah, good job there by Pitt secondary. Probably a ball he shouldn't have thrown. And Keenan Reynolds, this is certainly something you don't want if you're Navy as your quarterback, your record-setting quarterback, taking some shots. See there from Pitt's defensive end, linebacker Nicholas Grigsby.
Now Swain in at fullback on 3rd and 10. Reynolds on the reverse, and Tillman gets outside. Tripped up, maybe by the turf monster, and he's going to be short. Reggie Mitchell was in the neighborhood, but it's going to be 4th down. Look for sure that was going to get at least the first down.
I mean, how do you play defense against this? It's one thing after another. You're worried about this and the dive, and then it's a quarterback throwback, and now it's a pitch to the outside, a reverse to the wide receiver.
This looks to be a 34-yarder to make it 31-7. Make that 35. And it's good. So Navy plays tack on with 8:11 to play in the 3rd. Henderson brings it out. Will not get away. Thrown down inside the 15. So Pitt backed up inside its own 20. And when you've asked Keenan Reynolds how he's able to do it, he will quickly give all the credit to his teammates. Now Boyd on the end around, gets a block, gets another block out across the 35. So Tyler Boyd trying to deliver a spark.
And I'm just going back to Keenan Reynolds, as we mentioned before, it's the sincerity he has in his voice. I've seen a lot of players and heard a lot of players, oh, it's not about me. Yeah, well, you don't necessarily know that they feel that way. Keenan Reynolds, that's the kind of guy he is and the kind of player he is.
Tyler Boyd got some pellets in his face, so they'll try to get that out of his eye so he can go back out there. But Rocky, to your point, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, you hear stories about the game against Memphis, which was in his home state of Tennessee, where they call a play for him to set a record. It's complete to Dantes Ford. But he sees the play, he surveys that, you know what, they're stacking the box, there's no way he's going to get it, so he's going to make it audible and give the touchdown to another teammate.
Yeah, and the offensive coordinator, Ivan Jasper, is going, what are you doing? This is you were up by a million here. They were designing this to get you the record here near your hometown, and nope, coach, that's not the way I do it. They gave me this look, and I chose to run it that way. That's what was best for the team.
He's the headliner, but this is a very special senior class. You look at the depth chart and the roster. There are going to be a lot of new faces in training camp and spring ball as Whitehead shows his playmaking ability, breaking off a big-time run right up the middle.
It's time to get these playmakers involved here right now. If you're Pitt and they get Jordan Whitehead, the great freshman safety back in the backfield, and you can see what he can do between the tackles from the running back position.
Pick up a 21.
There he is, Tyler Boyd.
Peterman looking that way. Boyd goes back to it. Gets inside the 25. 11-yard pickup.
One thing about Tyler Boyd is he runs exceptional routes. You know, always breaks them off at the right distance and comes back to that football there and is in a spot where just he can get it. It's a good job by Peterman looking out there and seeing that Navy, they're playing off coverage, and Tyler Boyd recognizes that, cuts his route out before the defensive back can make the break. First down, Pitt.
From the Navy 25, the give to Olison. Stutter steps his way down to the 20. Certainly, Pittsburgh knew it would have its hands full with the Navy offense. I don't think they figured they would be stuck on 7 for almost the entire game.
No, absolutely not. They started this game off with a bang with the opening kickoff for the touchdown, but after that, this offense has just not been able to get things going, especially the running back, Quadri Allison, ACC Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Now Boyd in the backfield. He has it, looking to throw it. Now he tucks it away and runs it. Hurdles the billboard. I thought he wanted to throw it to Orndorff, which was well covered with double coverage in the secondary.
Yeah, and, you know, and you talk about Navy and their discipline. It's just hard to get trick plays to work against these guys from the Naval Academy because they're so good on their keys. They read their keys, they believe them. And that play right there just was stopped before it started.
And, you know, as Coach Pat Narduzzi said, they probably watched the Georgia Tech tape 100 times. That was more to see how Pitt defended the triple option, but they also saw probably Tyler Boyd throw a touchdown pass in that game. So that was on the scouting report. 3rd and 4 from the 19. Peterman with time over the middle to Olison. Inside the 10, Pitt 1st and goal. Micah Thomas with the tackle. 10-yard gain.
Nice job of Peterman finding Olison right there with all the attention. You look out there, Tyler Boyd was double covered. That left the middle of the field there, that short middle open. Great pitch and catch.
So now Darren Hall in the backfield with George Aston at the fullback. 8th play of the drive for Pitt as we approach 4.5 minutes left in the 3rd. Here's Hall. Not much doing on that play. Ted Colburn with the tackle. You know, it's interesting, Rocky. We have not said Bernard Serra or Will Anthony that much, but Pitt's not running the ball down their throat.
Right, absolutely not. They're doing a good job of controlling that line of scrimmage and kind of building the wall, and those linebackers and those secondary players are able to just run around and make some tackles.
Great look at those Navy Fleet helmets that honor the 7 historic ships that make up the U.S. Naval Fleet. 4 wide receivers. Here comes pressure. Man wide open, Olison. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Blew it on for the extra point. And it's a 17-point ball game.
They did a nice job there with the balance in the offense, a crossing route, and they find the running back Olison open. Pitt trying to make a comeback here late.
So Nate Peterman delivers his 20th touchdown pass of the season to the redshirt freshman Quadri Olison. As Pitt looking to fight back in this ball game. But Rocky, you mentioned it while we were away at break. I mean, you get the feeling every possession now that Navy's out there is a critical stop for the Pittsburgh defense.
Yeah, certainly. It's critical right now for Pitt's defense, not only just to get off the field here, but just, you know, not allow Navy to control the clock and move the ball down the field the way they have.
Romine from the 9. Out to about the 23. Now Reynolds still throwing, looking for Sanders.
It's a little bit surprising Navy's choosing to put the ball in the air that way, but if you're Pitt, that's what you want. You need, this defense could really use a turnover right now. They haven't got a ton of them on the year, just 15, which is next to last in the conference. But the way they attack, if they want to try to put the ball in the air, to make some things happen.
Quint, what do you have?
Nobody blitzes like we do. The words of Pat Narduzzi as they shift their front from a 4-man line to a 5-man line. I think here comes the heat on this critical possession.
And Swain runs right into it. He loses the ball. Whitehead still has it, and he takes it in. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Right on
freshman.
Wow, we talk about what this defense could use right now is a turnover. Jordan Whitehead, the true freshman, ACC Rookie of the Year, comes up with a huge play, and now Pitt not only gets the points, but they get some momentum. They get some life back in this football game, Eamon.
So the kid out of Aliquippa, following in the footsteps of Ty Law and Darrell Rivas, makes a huge play on the 22-yard takeaway out of the sure-handed fullback.
Well, what did Quint just say? No one blitzes like us, right? No one blitzes and brings the pressure the way Pitt does, and that's what they do. You see the penetration, and bang, right there. It was a linebacker, Gimbalus, who was able to pop that ball loose, and it goes right into the hands of Jordan Whitehead. And what a critical turn of events here again. If even just not just the points in them, but the way now Pitt has some life. They get that critical turnover and try to get some momentum back.
Well, they told us last night, Josh Conklin, Matt Galambos has to play big, and he just delivered possibly the play that's going to spark Pat Narduzzi's team. Another short kick. Romine from the 6. Breaks free, gets across the 30. Swain right back out there at fullback. And they give it to Swain, who breaks one tackle, hurdles a man across the 40 out near the 45. So you knew they weren't going to go away from the senior who's going to the Senior Bowl.
It's a great job. They bring the 5th defensive lineman up on the line of scrimmage, and Keenan Reynolds checks the play to the opposite side. A great job there, and then the decision to hand the ball to Swain.
Got the extra yard he needed. Now Reynolds down the line, keeps it himself. Rocky, is that a play in the first half that he might have pitched, where now it's more about ball security that he holds on to?
A little bit. I mean, I think right now, if you're Ken Niumatalolo, the last thing you want is the ball just flying around in the air all the time. So, you know, keep the ball in the hands of your best player, Keenan Reynolds. I think that's a better decision.
There's a 1-second differential between the game clock and the play clock, so they'll have to get a play off before the third quarter ends. 2nd and 9 from the Pitt 46. To Ezel. Not much doing there. Maybe a yard. Bam Bradley. Bam indeed. That'll do it for the third quarter. Jordan Whitehead has changed things on a dime here in Annapolis. Don't put this one in the win column for the midshipmen just yet. The final 15 minutes of regulation from the Military Bowl when we return after this.
A fourth quarter party on the Panther sideline. Part mosh pit, a little too cold to start tossing the Gatorade, but head coach Pat Narduzzi letting his guys dance around and celebrate. You see the passion. He's a man of discipline, toughness, and fun.
Well, they have come to life here late in the third with the touchdown off the fumble recovery by Whitehead, and now the fans who have made the 4-hour trip from Pittsburgh looking for a stop on 3rd and 7. Swain at fullback. Price gets double teamed. Complete. Short though. Tillman making up for the holding penalty. But now we're right back to where we started.
One thing we haven't talked about Keenan Reynolds, what he does is extends plays. He gets outside and allows this route to develop, and Tillman comes up with the ball just a few yards short. But to your point, Eamon, this is now 4th and short. This is certainly a situation where Navy's going to go for it.
Pat Narduzzi storming out on the field. He wants an explanation for something. Not quite sure what could upset him. 4th and 2. Swain at the fullback. 5 on the play clock. Reynolds down the line. Keeps it. 1st down. Keenan Reynolds, ladies and gentlemen.
And Eamon, you just knew that Keenan Reynolds in this critical situation, this ball game, was going to keep it himself, and he did. He puts the game in his hands, makes an incredible decision, and then again the athleticism and speed. And boy, is that a backbreaker there for Pitt's defense.
3rd and 15. They give up the long reception to Tillman, and something on that long reception upset Pat Narduzzi because he still thought there was another hold after they got the hold on Tillman. Instead, it's 1st and 10 for Navy. Swain right up the gut. Tripped up by Grigsby. Up 10, Navy will be a little bit more patient than they were in the first half as Quentin Ezell takes over for Swain at fullback. Reynolds keeps it to the left. Dropped hard by Galambos.
And this is critical right now for Pitt's defense. If they can keep him out here, kicking field goals is not what Navy does well. So if they can keep him out here and force a little bit longer field goal, maybe they can get the ball back and try to take it down the field themselves.
And again, at 3rd and 5, with the wind picking up here, you wonder if Navy will just go for it on 4th down if they get stopped here. 8 of 11 on 3rd down conversions here this evening. Reynolds stumbles, but regains composure and finds a man wide open. And it's Brown. This will be an interesting spot. Damon Brown made the grab.
And it looks like it's going to be about 4th and 1.
Yep, so now what does Navy do? What would you do, Rocky Boyman, here with a 10-point lead, 4th and 1?
I'll tell you what, again, with the way that, kicking field goals isn't necessarily Navy's strong suit, and I got one of the best players in college football, Keenan Reynolds, I put the ball in his hands and take my chances.
So Swain at the fullback. And it's Swain, and he lunges forward. And that is the emotion and intensity of this bowl game.
I thought Pitt came off the ball pretty decent here. They loaded up the box just like we talked about, but Chris Swain, nice vision. Instead of just piling that thing right up on the interior, bounces it outside just a little bit, and that was enough for the 1st down, as Coach Ken shows us.
Now Pitt ready for that toss play. As Swain's driven back. You know, earlier when we were discussing Keenan Reynolds' place in history, I said greatest quarterbacks. I meant to say greatest players. Joe Bellino, a running back, winning the Heisman Trophy winner. Roger Staubach, the quarterback, but certainly running back, quarterback, any position. Keenan Reynolds might be on the Mount Rushmore of Navy football when all is said and done.
Put him on there. As we see now, Chris Swain, the fullback, has just won over 1,000 yards on the season, and what a critical game he's played here today as well.
Not a bad way to do it on 4th and 1, possibly sealing a bowl victory as they try the outside with Gully still on his feet. Tonio Gully takes it in. "15 yards. You think they might take a drop when this senior class graduates, but they still have playmakers coming down the chute.
Well, that's what you say. I mean, look, a lot of seniors are making a lot of plays out there today, but I mean, Pitt's defense is just demoralized. They're trying to take away options, and they're doing such a good job, but you load up on the dive, and then Keenan Reynolds keeps it. You focus on Keenan Reynolds, and he pitches it to the outside. So many weapons out here. And as we talk about the speed at which the ball gets to the perimeter, Keenan Reynolds makes the perfect read, a toss outside the gully, cut back across the green, and now Navy looking to ice this Military Bowl with a victory.
The Middies can feel it. 38-21, 10:58 left to play here in the 4th quarter at the Military Bowl, presented by Northrop Grumman. Such an answer. I mean, the precision on that offense, so tough to stop. Pitt had momentum and had some juice going. And now they squib it to keep it away from Henderson. And Pitt takes it out to the 29.
Biggest thing with Navy getting that last score, especially considering the time in this game, under 11 to go in the 4th quarter, it just forces Pittsburgh's offense to go outside of their identity. They're going to have to start chucking the ball all over the yard. They're not going to be able to allow to lean on the run at this point in the football game.
Peterman moves the pocket, now steps up. He's going to have to run for it. And wow, he gets decked by Colburn. And there's a targeting call. Now, at what point is a running back, you know, defenseless is always the big word here.
But once a quarterback becomes a runner, he is no longer defenseless. This is not the same as the NFL, so he becomes a runner. He's clearly a runner right there. Yeah. It looks like they just overturned it. Yeah, there's no targeting play on that.
Now Pat Narduzzi doesn't like that. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, when he becomes a runner, he's no longer defenseless and no longer subjective.
The other thing is, I don't think it's targeting.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't, you know, on the second look, I don't think it's targeting. That is.
He hits him
above the neck area.
But again, not being defenseless, that's a clean play.
Now, if you're a Pitt fan, as Peterman gets out of the pocket again, still doesn't slide, and he gets out of bounds. Now, if you're a Pitt fan looking for the 15 yards, is launching part of the call? Is the linebacker launching from his feet?
I mean, that's one thing you may look at there, but it didn't look like he certainly didn't leave his feet and go airborne. You know, he can put an elbow in there. That's a clean play there by Colburn, in my opinion.
Junior out of Northport, Alabama.
Great hit.
Says the linebacker.
It was.
I know. Now Olsen with an alley. Full head of steam. He could go. The 10. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. 45 yards. They're not done yet, folks.
Well, maybe they don't have to go outside their identity when you get a downhill runner like Olsen.
Again, stepping up for James Conner, who was injured in the opener with the knee injury. Blewett makes the kick, and he comes through with an ACC Offensive Rookie of the Year kind of year, and he keeps his team in it. Has the hole, has daylight, and takes it the distance. It's a 10-point game in Annapolis with 9:35 to go. So after scoring 7 points in the first 41 minutes and 51 seconds of this game, the Panthers have erupted for 21 in the last 8 minutes and 34 seconds and are hanging around. They refuse to go away and turn this into a coronation for the Naval Academy. So with 9:35 left to play, do they try anything on the kick? Is there an onside kick coming up? They kick it away to Romine, and he's going to let it go for the touchback. Changing the alignment with 8 on the play clock. Reynolds on the toss. Gets away from Price, gets the first down. Romine still on his feet. Inside the 30. One big play after another. Dyson Romine, the junior out of Louisville, Kentucky.
And just give Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator, a lot of credit here. He knows they're going to sell out and try to stop the dive. So what do? Instead of running the teeth of that thing, pitch it to the outside, get in the hands of the running back, and picks up a back-breaking first down.
And you see how close Juan Price was for the TFL. And the tackle for a loss, 19.5 tackles behind the line of scrimmage coming in for number 5, but he just couldn't bring down Romine. And then 43 yards later, it's another Navy first down. Now Swain, Quentin Ezell. Now they need fresh legs, so Galambos comes out for Warguinis. Caprera back on the field as well for Pittsburgh.
As you said, Eamon, they're rotating those middle linebackers in, bringing a set of fresh legs here. Because again, the way Navy controls this clock, it's hard to stay on the field.
Swain up the middle, runs into Darrell Render. 6th play of this drive, 3rd and 5. Swain back in at fullback, Reynolds down the line, and he gets tripped up. Warguinis makes the tackle.
Great play by Warguinis on that one. Stayed clean, as we talked about, and got to the outside.
So now, Rocky, what's the decision on 4th down? Offense staying out there. Decision's already been made. 4th and 3. Huge play here. Romine in motion. Now Brown. Make that gully. And they try just to draw him off. And, no, Navy jumped. Who jumped first? Flags all over the place, pointing all over the place.
It looked to me like Mosley Smith, the defensive tackle, jumped first, Eamon. Yep.
Offside. 91.
Narduzzi has to be restrained.
Penalty. Results in a first down.
Did he draw contact? He definitely jumped, but then Tillman.
And it was number 95, Moses Smith, that jumped off sides. Didn't look if there was any contact, but Coach Niumatalolo fired up on the sideline.
Well, they tried that earlier. This time they get him to jump. Now Swain. I mean, Coach Narduzzi was upset about something. Does the defender have a chance to get back? Because we didn't see the contact, and Tillman jumped off as well.
Yeah, if the ball's not snapped or there's not contact, then yeah, the defensive
The ball
player
definitely wasn't snapped, at least at real speed.
Yeah. Now from the replay we saw, I didn't see any contact. Maybe there was some, but I think that's what Pat Narduzzi's argument is right now.
According to our Quint Kesnick down on the field, the head coach sort of calmed down a little bit after he saw the play again on the big board. So maybe he saw something that we didn't. And now Reynolds on the rollout, looking for 6, throws it away.
Yeah, that was a smart play by Keenan Reynolds right there. Pitt had that locked up, both the option in the back of the end zone and plus the fullback in the flat. Good job not forcing that football down in this area of the field, just throws it away.
Now Reynolds, quarterback draw, right up the middle, right down Randall Street, touchdown Navy. Career touchdown number 88. The record once again belongs to the Navy quarterback. Don't think he was checking out of that play.
Not at all. That was certainly the best option. He spreads the field. Everything opens up like the Red Sea, and he just punches it in straight ahead for the touchdown.
Extra point is blocked. But Will Worth makes the tackle, but
and Keenan Reynolds on the touchdown drops back to pass here. Everyone goes into coverage, leaves a soft spot in the middle of the field. He punches it in for the record-breaking touchdown. Navy 44, Pitt 28.
And, you know, we talked about 88, excuse me, the record was 87. We talk about it was a chance for him and his classmates to go out in style. And now Henderson, who started things off with a 100-yard kickoff return, gets out across the 36.
And Eamon, what's been so impressive to me about Navy is usually when Navy, they're facing a team with more athleticism on the other side of the ball, they'll do well early, but then by the third and fourth quarter, they just get out-athleted, right? But every time today when Pitt has tried to make a comeback, remember they had the big touchdown recovery on defense, Jordan Whitehead. They've started to get some momentum, started to get back in this game. Every single time, Keenan Reynolds and this Navy offense has answered.
Now Peterman with time. Long throw to the out to Boyd, who makes the grab in Navy territory. Well, I mean, in their two losses against Notre Dame and Houston, you know, two top 10 programs, are, you know, clearly they were out-athleted. What's been the difference here tonight?
Well, again, I just think this way they've answered, and I've talked about it all game, but it's just the balance on offense. It made this this attacking style defense, this aggressive defense was not able to play to their strengths. They were on their heels. Is it the pass? Is it the throw back to the quarterback? Is it the option? Is it the dive? There's so many things, and as a guy who's played against triple option attacks, it takes away your natural instinct to attack, especially the way this defense likes to do it, and just I credit the balance on offense by Navy.
So while the players had the week off during finals, there's another interception. This one's Clements. So Peterman, who only had 4 interceptions before the Miami game, threw one against the Hurricanes that was big in the first half. And he just throws another one here, his second of the afternoon.
Yeah, you can see he's trying to go to his guy, Tyler Boyd, but there's 3 blue jerseys around him. And, you know, an errant throw, and then once again, Brandon Clements coming up with a great play in the secondary. Well, and it also bears mentioning, look, I mean, to win 11 games and also go through the unique schedule that these players here at Navy go through. It's not like most colleges around the country where you go to a few classes and you lift weights in the summer and you're concentrating on football. These guys certainly have much more on their plate, so many duties, so many changes to the schedule. You got a practice schedule, and all of a sudden some senator comes into town. You got to change things around. And during the summer, everyone else is working on their agility and things like that. These guys are working on things to help our country later in life. So it's very unique, but also not just great people, great men, but also great football players getting 11 wins this year.
And they will win 11 wins for the first time in school history, and the name on the marquee and the headliner was Keenan Reynolds.
Yeah, he's been spectacular. Like I talked about, it's him getting this Navy offense out of bad plays and into good plays. He's been doing a good job throwing the football just when you think you got it stopped, and we got this dive stopped, he'll pitch it out. We got the pass stopped, he'll keep it around to the outside. Just really kept this defense on his heels all game.
And, you know, we were mentioning the senior class, all that they've accomplished and how deep this roster is with seniors making impact plays. and being impact players, everyone thought the writing on the wall was for Coach Niumatalolo was to leave. He had a unique opportunity to coach his sons at BYU. He certainly met with BYU, but in the end, he told us and he told everyone that in his heart, the Naval Academy was the best place for he and his family. He's been here for 18 years.
And Eamon, how rare is that in college football? It's usually always about the next job or the next gig or the bigger job. But what Coach Niumatalolo told us this week, he's been talking about it. I felt comfortable here. I like being here. These men, these cadets, they've helped us build me as a human being and as a man. So he certainly went with his heart, went with his gut, and decided to stay right here.
And Reynolds gets the first down out to the 40. And now you start to wonder if they'll make a substitution or if they'll... Pitt's got the one timeout left after he picks up 8. Actually, Pitt out of timeouts. So they will line up in the victory formation. And this senior class will pick up win number 36, tie the record in school history set by the class of 1909.
And also their 3rd straight bowl victory. We talked about before the game, 32 seniors in this class. The impressive resume they've built. First year in the American Conference, they'll get 11 wins. Certainly setting the bar high for this Naval Academy program.
And for Pitt, certainly a successful first season for Coach Pat Narduzzi, coming over from Michigan State. And not the way they wanted to go out with back-to-back losses. And now they will meet at midfield. What a moment for the Naval Academy and its seniors. The 11th win, setting a school record. And they did it with the triple option and their quarterback leading the way.
They did, and I think it bears mentioning too. Look, everyone talks about how many things this Naval Academy team does. They're not just a bunch of Eagle Scouts out there, right? There's some good football players. They proved that getting their 11th win.
All right, let's go down to Quint.
Coach Niumatalolo shaking hands. 44 points and an aggressive mindset. What was most critical for the offense?
Just what you said. I thought Coach Jasper did a great job of calling plays. Keenan executed, played really well. We played well. That's a good defense. They haven't given up a ton of points. Just proud of the way our kids played.
How do you best describe the play of Keenan?
He's been doing that for 4 years. Unfortunately, he's leaving. But tremendous kid, done great things for our program, and our country's going to be in good hands with him serving us.
Well, that entire senior class, you think about 3 bowl wins, an 11-win season. Oh! Woo! How do you put in perspective the impact of the senior class on Navy football?
I love those guys. So I'll tell you, I love those guys. And as Americans, like I said, we're in great shape. We got guys like that are going to go protect us. Just wonderful kids.
Congratulations, Coach.
And that right there is why he's staying at the Naval Academy to be the midshipman's head coach. That's all from Annapolis as Navy wins the 2015 Military Bowl. For more Military Bowl coverage, join us on ESPN3 for the Capital One post-game trophy ceremony.